Winner bracket semifinal number 2. So the Murky Cup continues. We are in the playoffs. We're still in the winner bracket. We have more best of 5 action coming up. We got Team Copium against the refueled Raccoons. So could be an interesting series. Should be an interesting series, honestly. The Raccoons, probably one of my favorite teams right now. Just like hands down. These guys have started up in the Anniversary Cup, and the way that they started to play there was absolutely fantastic. Lots of fun compositions, lots of fun styles that they showed, and it's honestly pretty awesome to see how well they're doing. But they're also now going more and more up against really tough opponents with every single round that they win, obviously. And Team Copium, they won their group in the group stage. They have obviously a lot of experienced players in their lineup. You look over to Banana H, Lopaka, Masquerade. I mean, again, the entire team essentially. Lots of tournament experience here. So these guys definitely know what they're doing. I feel like I have to highlight that this is actually the real Nano. With Nano giving his second account to Taichessa, who plays for the Three-Legged Cats. I think at this point I actually have to point out when it's the real Nano playing. And yes, this is indeed the real Nano. This is one of the reasons why the Chromie gets picked away. So this is a pretty smart move made by the Raccoons. Because Nano is known for a couple of heroes, obviously. And one of those heroes where he really excels at is Chromie. We have a rule in the tournament where every single hero can only be played once within a series. So what happens typically? Typically you will see teams ban out Chromie against Nano. In this case, they're just picking Chromie in game number 1 as a first pick, steal it away from Nano, and from here on out the hero can't be played in the series any longer. And they don't have to bother with Chromie bans anymore. So they can just now sit there and be like, okay, we're going to play Chromie ourselves. You can't play her anymore. We don't have to use a ban every single map. So even better. Could, of course, they ban Sylvanas, by the way, too. But curious what Nano's going to pick. Plenty of choices for him. We have Dehaka and Johanna in. Those are already fantastic for the map. Infernal Shrines as a starting map needs to have a lot of wave clear for the objective. We have Dehaka also as a global tool. But the Condemn of Jojo, Dehaka just coming in with the AoE that he brings, they can do a lot and really lock in Shrine minions very, very quickly. We get Blaze and Rhaegar on the other side. And by now, we got, of course, Diablo banned out too. Yeah, Diablo is always a nice one. If you can just bully people around and like just pressure them into walls, always the best. Still very satisfying when you think about like the trailer of Diva back then, which was mainly centered around Diablo and Genji, and then at some point Diablo just like smashing Genji into the wall. Exactly like all of us want to see every single time. So by now we got Genji also banned out. And are we going to get any bounties here? Team Copium and the Raccoons. When we're talking about the Raccoons, I think the one thing that has to be pointed out is that the Raccoons have played by far the most bounties. They have 10.5 bounty points currently, which puts them ahead of Team Rip. Team Copium, though, now that they're going for Gul'dan and for Anduin, Team Copium, they have not played a single bounty yet, so not even one. I'm not sure if this is going to change in the playoffs as we're progressing through these best of 5s and more heroes are unavailable, or if they just decided that they are only going for the real prize money. But we get Varian and we get Hogger on the side of the Raccoons, so no bounty attempt in game number 1 from them. A triple front line that they're trying to execute here on Infernal Shrines, with Varian teeing things up for Chromie, who is the only range damage dealer for the team right now. And that brings us to the final choice for the blue team, for Lopaka. They obviously need a little more damage. They have really nice AoE, by the way. Gul'dan on the mage now, as you would have expected. And here comes Malthael, so a triple front line also for Team Copium. Ladies and gentlemen, Infernal Shrines, game number 1 between Copium and the Raccoons. Game number 1, Copium against the Raccoons, and we got Banana on Anduin. On the left side, we continue with Lopaka on Malthael. We got Serdath on Dehaka, Nano on Gul'dan, with the Pursuit of Flame. Masquerade with Johanna as the front line, of course, and then on the right side, the only range damage dealer for the Raccoons, with Chromie, played by Gavlo. Got a Disciple on Hogger. It's kind of weird to not see him on Ophir, but obviously they had a mage already locked in. I went over why exactly Chromie was chosen first here for the team. Virtue on Varian, we got Ubi on Blaze, and Scorch is playing Rhaegar. So, off to the races we go. So here's the opportunity right now for Team Copium to pull farther ahead here. They won their group, so this is in the playoffs actually the first series that they have to play. For the Raccoons, a bit of a longer run. Whoever wins this one goes up against the Bounty Hunters. That winner bracket semi-final, by the way, was absolutely bonkers. If you haven't watched this yet, I would highly recommend that you check it out. That was hoot and a half. A lot of unexpected stuff there, but, well, we'll see how it goes now and which team moves on to face off against the team around Wooby and Breeze. Dehaka at the top now, and, well, down here, I haven't really seen anything too crazy yet. Everybody just rotating between the mid and the bot lane and looking to see if they can maybe catch somebody off guard. 1 minute mark is now popping in though, which means that we have camps and they're getting targeted immediately. They're already right there, so they make a very quick play for it. Take the first one with the help of Hogger, and since they are running both triple front lines, they have of course enough tools that they can use for top lane control and then also down here in the fight. But we got the Raccoons starting to invade, and nice! They go for Banana H, and he gets hoggered. Banana H gets taken down, Hogger dies too, but they also eliminated Gul'dan, so that's still a win for them. Blaze isn't here. The team moved in with Dehaka, and the entirety of Team Copium started to jump on this. But it also allowed Blaze to escort a few minions closer to the wall in the mid lane, and that's nice damage done. And now he's gonna do the same thing, or try to do the same thing, all the way up at the top lane. So, pretty okay. I mean, again, small advantage, but a nice little start for the Raccoons for the first game of the best of 5 series. So, Taunt is in with level 4. That was never really in doubt, considering the composition that they're playing here. Definitely not some sneaky attempt at Twin Blade variant, amongst other things because they already played Twin Blade variant. They have the bounty completed, so they don't have to bother with that anymore. The Raccoons were really diligent about bounties. The two teams that are currently ahead in bounty points are the Raccoons at 10.5 and Team Rip at 10 points. So both of the teams have done a lot. And then we have a couple of teams like Copium that haven't attempted a single bounty. The Bounty Hunters, funnily enough, have only completed 2 bounties. So definitely false advertisement. Marker getting attacked over here. Careful, gets that drag, but yeah, we don't get a kill. Chromie is down at the bottom of the map and dishes out a bit more damage against the wall, I suppose. No, not too much. But yeah, with this we now have also the first objective popping up. Chromie might actually activate this one, and does. But they want the kill on Masquerade, and they get it! Nice! Well done! So they're taking out Johanna, and the timing couldn't be more perfect for them. Just as the shrine is up and the shrine minions targeted, they are able to take down Jojo. The death timers are low and she will be back soon, but for now, without a tank moving into that space, it's going to be difficult. They're still trying it, and they might lose Malsail as a result, and they do. Very nicely done. Quick hit coming through from Gavlo on Chromie as they take Malsail down, and that should be the first objective in the hands of the Raccoons. So, great start for them. Job well done. And, of course, the big question still, what else can they now do as they are going to clearly aim for the bottom fort? Can they, for example, take the entire thing out here? If that's the case, that would be the dream right now. If you are able to destroy the fort with objective number 1 because it's a frozen Punisher, then amazing. But yeah, we'll see. For now, they are baiting it over the wall. The defense so far strong. Hogger has already rotated into the middle, so it's not like they're going 5-man on this, but they are going for Masquerade again, and damn, they're actually taking him down. Chromie had her ult ready, so they slowed him down, and Masquerade is gone again. That's the second death of Johanna. Down at the bottom, the wall got destroyed, and they also put a little bit of pressure onto the fort itself. And here we now have the next play through the mid lane. So 5 kills to 1 grants them nearly a level lead. Not quite, but still. And they are getting structural damage in. So not bad. Good job. The Raccoons with a really good opening into this first game. And for Team Copium, bit of bad news. Haven't lost a fort yet. Lost only 1 objective. But once that level 10 is available, there's theoretically a chance for the Raccoons to try and apply a bit more pressure. And, well, there we are now. Porter Pult is in for Hogger. Oh, Chromie, careful. that would suck a little bit. trying to set up a potential attack, and then all of a sudden Chromie just gets sniped and you lose your main damage dealer. But for now, what we get is some pressure through the middle. They're also, again, trying to steal the camps away. If you look at this for just a second, the minion experience for the two teams is more or less identical, but look at the difference here on mercenary experience. The red team doubles what their opponents have, so this is pretty big. Then, of course, hero experience with the 5 kills to 1. This is where the real big difference kicks in on XP. But, yeah, even on the mercenaries, a lot of effort by the Raccoons to pull ahead and maintain that advantage. Damage output, as both of the teams at level 10, we got 11,000 for Khaldor. We got 13,000 for Chromie, slightly ahead. There's once again, of course, the Horrify for Khaldor and Malsael. I'd expect last rights given the comp that they're playing here. I don't think they were going to get Tormented Souls with this, but, well, time will tell. Next objective for sure. And he goes Tormented Souls. Alright. Tormented Souls after all, so they're not trying to play around last rights after all. We get the aggression against Disciple, who tries to Hoarder pulled away, gets into the bunker, but he might still fall. They won Togger, the heal is there, and he somehow walks away. I can't believe this. He was essentially dead when he entered the bunker, and now he's walking away from that fight. If I'm on the blue team, I'm a little bit tilted right now. Instead, Nano is getting attacked, there's the jet propulsion, and Khaldor dies. Horga still able to get out. This is getting ridiculous. They're going for the Haka instead, and how the hell is the red team still alive? They might lose their front line now. But nope, they re-engage and they go for the Haka. They go for Malsael. The Haka nearly dies there, but is able to pop the fountain. It's still crazy to me. They could have lost more heroes in that fight, I suppose, but the fact alone that they weren't able to get a kill is just crazy. Good on the Raccoons. 6 kills to 1 and the chance to rotate towards the top, and obviously to make matters worse for the blue team, it's essentially guaranteed that the Raccoons are going to get level 13 for the fight. There's no way that there's some snap play now by Copium to force a battle before the 13 talent kicks in. I mean, it's ready as is. So there's the opportunity. Shattering throw on the side of Varian. Definitely play around Jojo a little bit with this one. But there's the talent advantage for the fight now, so it's going to be the big one. Disciple, is he still getting away? Hoarder pulls out, plays this one safe, is willing to sacrifice the cooldown because, again, on the other side, Tormented Souls was used too. And they used the bunker again to escape with Varian. The Horrify was just not on point to stop them, so once more, nobody dying. Honestly, the bunker coordination that we're getting from the Raccoons here is insane. It's honestly insane. I love this team, I really do. These guys are doing such a great job. They just pop, I mean, as a 5-man, they popped up and they were just doing incredibly well. And are now one of my favorite teams to watch. They are against a very, very strong team though. So, despite the fact that I really like what we're seeing from the red team, by no means will I come in here and say like, alright, they got this one. Because we got Masquerade, Nano, Banana H against the... They're going to be stacked on the other side. Absolutely stacked. 13 talent in, and here comes the Mortar Punisher this time around. This should cost the blue team the first fort. This should cost you the first fort. It would be amazing if they somehow defended this one. Blaze is rotating between the lanes, but so is the Haka. Maybe the Haka moves in and tries to help out with the defense. I kind of doubt it a bit though. This fort is just taking too much damage already. And Masquerade, for example, gets slowed down by the slowing sands again, and is also suffering a lot. If they focus on the structure, they're going to take it. And yep, there it is. So fort goes down. That's the first one that falls in the game. And now they can rotate towards the middle, towards the bottom. In an ideal world, you're going to try and take the Haka down, but yeah, he's not going to fall for any of this. 34,000 damage for Chromie. 25,000 for Khaldor. They get a lick on Varian, but yeah, it's not going to do anything here. So, Blaze down at the bottom of the map. He takes the next camp for them. We talked a bit earlier about the camp clear and the diligence with which the red team in particular is just moving from one to the next. They are maintaining the 1 level advantage over the opponent's team. But here comes the red team, trying to force a fight before level 16 talents are available for their opponents. Dominant Souls used again. Marcel is at 25,000 damage. He's actually starting to contest Gul'dan for the top damage spot on the team. Hogger with 27,000. I mean, some of the plays that we've seen from Disciple were absolutely crazy. And, well, at this point, gonna go... Oh, there's the kill. Okay, this time Disciple wanted a little bit too much. And Horrify connects just on the back end with Varian. Ancestral is out. The bunker is ready. I think this time they're still losing some of their heroes. Virtue is low. And Dehaka really wants him. But yeah, gets the drag. Oh, he was nearly gone. He was so close to escaping. Honestly, if that last Tong from Dehaka doesn't connect, then he's able to get away. But unfortunately for him, that didn't work out. So now we have 6 kills to 3. Level 16 talents early didn't really help them. Team Copium is starting to come back here. We have them in a position where they at least have the same talents again. They have only lost 1 fort so far, so even structurally, though they are still behind, it's not like all is lost here. And this last fight was really good. Taking first Hogger out and then working down Varian, that really helped them a lot here. So yeah, nicely done. And now we'll just have to see if they can continue with that. Right now they're even stealing the camp away on the opponent. Well, maybe they're not. Hello? Did not see that Hogger engage happen. But yeah, they want it. The camp is still stolen though. They can't get a kill from the looks of it. But yeah, they didn't lose anybody either. But I gotta say, I was not expecting Hogger to just go full on YOLO and say, you know what, boys, let's go in and see what we can actually do here. So, as is, we now have the next shrine activating in a few more seconds, and the two teams will, I guess, both be ready and try to make their play here. This time it should be an Arcane Punisher, I believe. And yeah, this should be the real battle now. Blue team has even taken a slight lead in experience. Nothing to write home about, but yeah. If you want to make mommy and daddy proud, then you have to pull off a little bit more than that, but still it's a start. So the blue team takes control initially, as their opponents are slowly starting to move in, but with the lead that we see for Team Copium, if the Raccoons want this one, they gotta step it up a bit. 17 stacks to 3. Blaze is still pushing the top a little bit, so it's looking more and more like they might be totally okay giving this one up. Blaze is now slowly coming through, but if they want to catch up on this one, they really need to win the team fight. They need to win it quickly. So Hogger is already pogging in deep. Disciple basically using his Hoarder pull time and time again as an escape tool. Horrifier has been used too. Varian is low and is about to get killed. They're gonna get the hits here, and it's a double kill. It's not only Hogger that falls, but Varian as well. Arcane Punisher gets taken not even a second later, which means that you now have 3 defenders trying to deal with this. And spoiler alert, but yeah, that ain't happening. So they're gonna go for that fort in the mid lane easily, and Team Copium is really unleashed their power now. They struggle in the mid game. They had some real trouble there, and the Raccoons pulled ahead, but fights like the last one are absolutely disastrous for the red team. So right now we have really, really nice moves made by Copium, and they deserve at least start to take the lead in game number 1. I mean, at this point, we have them with 5 kills to 6, still a bit behind, but they have a level advantage over the opponent. And we have also more pressure at the top and at the bottom of the map, probably more important, because here they're going to take the fort. Which means that we now have 2 major structures destroyed. We pull ahead in experience, in structures, and are just generally taking the lead on this. So, not bad. That last fight was perfect for them. 47,000 damage for Gul'dan. Chromie is still a bit ahead of him with 49k. But then you have Malthael, of course, who basically brings the same numbers as Gul'dan. And yeah, with level 20 now in their hands, they're gonna destroy the last fort at the top, I believe. At least they're threatening it. So yeah, is Blaze really gonna fight this out? Are they gonna try and defend this? I don't really think so. With Hogger at the bottom of the map and Chromie in the middle, there's no way. So the last fort gets sacrificed. They're not willing to fight here. They realize that they have to just get the experience 420 so that they can fight for the next objective. That in and of itself is already going to be tough enough. The Haga is the only one on the blue team that hasn't died yet, though. But, yep, no one can stop death for Malthael as the choice. And we also get Sensor for Anduin. So, they're getting close. Close to level 20, the Raccoons. Once that they have Storm Talons, they can fight for the next objective. But we still have Team Copium exploiting the advantage. I mean, more and more and more. They went to the bot lane and they realized they have another shot of taking a tower or two down. So that's exactly what they did here. They destroy this without any big issues. And yeah, so far so good. So now that the next objective is coming up, it's going to be the one where we just simply have to see what are they going to try and pull off now. Can they win the fight? Can they get an objective? Can they finally destroy some forts too? Are we going to get another comeback from the Raccoons? Or is the blue team now going to start to fully walk away with this? With level 20 talents, we also have Unraveling, by the way. So, yep, get the upgrade on this one. Not really too many big surprises, honestly, on level 20 talents. Yeah, fortified bunker. I mean, after what they pulled off with the real bunker, imagine what they can do with the fortified version. They try again for a Masquerade kill, and they got dangerously close to pulling this one off. But Rhaegar gets horrified and killed. Beautiful play again from Nano. Nano had some super sexy plays in this game, and some of the horrifiers that he executed were just pitch perfect and led straight up to kills and teamfight victories. And the timing on this one also solid. It is going to win them the Punisher. So what we expected that's going to happen is we expected a big team fight around the objective at the bot lane. And it doesn't really look like that's what we're going to get. Because without Rhaegar, it would be suicide to come in and try to take that fight. You need your healer. So no honorable Sudoku from the Raccoons. But we might see some Sudoku from Masquerade. Nope. Anduin again saves the day there. It is kind of funny to me, though, how quickly they are jumping on Jojo and how easily it is for them to nearly destroy her. If Anduin would not be playing on point time and time again, Johanna would have fallen multiple times over the last couple of minutes, and very likely them losing those battles. So Holger is now pushing back out. He forced Dehaka towards the top. They're actually delaying the objective a little bit. Trying to sync it up with camps. And well, there it is. We get 39. I mean, normally you delay it because you either want to take a camp or you want to get level 20 or whichever it is. At this point, it seems that they're just trying to buy a little bit of time for the Haka to push the top lane out so that he has an easier time joining the team. And of course, pushing the camp and the catapult in is also helping you a little bit. But, yeah. I guess he's going to interrupt that for now. They are playing around this a bit. But they're hearthing back out. The Haka is not making a mistake to appear on the lane. So Masquerade is just waiting for this. And off we go. Now, at this point, they will force a fight. One way or another. I'm actually a little bit surprised still that the blue team is waiting this out for this long. It really feels that they're just trying to buy some time for the Haka to stabilize the top lane. And I suppose vision is another factor. They weren't quite sure the entire time where the red team is, but eventually they're going to push with this. It's 6 kills to 6 here. I'm showing a lot of patience on this. Heroics are all up too. And, well, there we have them. So by now, this is where Team Copium, they're obviously hoping to not only take the keep, but also take the game here. It's a frozen Punisher after all, so destroying the keep should be fairly easy for them. But the Haka, he will be needed in the fight. He pushed the top lane out. Once that they see what's going on down at the bottom of the map, he's gonna join. And, well, there it is. The bait already towards the middle a little bit. The Haka should soon make his move down to the bot lane. Are they really just keeping it topside and playing this 4 versus 5 down at the bottom? They might not even get the keep if they do it this way. So right now, there's the bait again for the Punisher. The keep is at 50%, so I suppose they're going to get it either way. But they definitely have to be careful here. Alright, they're going to go for the keep and nothing more. The Haka pushed the top lane out, which is obviously going to help them to gain even more map control. What the red team really wants and haven't gotten for a while is a proper team fight. They lost, who was it? Rhaegar to the Horrify earlier. that basically shut down the entire battle instantly. And now it's really all about who wins the next fight, who wins the next objective. Maybe if the red team, yeah. If the red team wins an objective, they are not guaranteed to take the game though. With 21 minutes in, catapults are obviously starting to become more of a problem as time continues. But the truth is also that if the red team is able to win a battle, it depends on how many heroes they're able to kill. There's again, yeah, they need to get the Ancestral out for this one. And they do. Horrify, Rhaegar's being hit. Yeah, but they're still alive here, and Rhaegar is able to get out. Varian is still fighting this out, and Dehaka is the one that was really in trouble, but is able to get away. They're still trying to maybe get a hit on Malthael here, but nobody falls in the fight, so they are able to retreat after all. But a nice little skirmish that we had between the two teams, with both teams playing a solid defensive game and not losing anybody in their roster. Masquerade and his boys still attempting to defend the fort in the middle, but it is taking more and more damage now, and the continuous poke that we get from the Raccoons is going to drop it. So this one's gone. They go for Banana H, and Chromie! Chromie with a big hit and kill. Disciple is safe for now. They got a Jet Propulsion connect with Blaze, and they hope to get Masquerade too, but that was a solid kill against Anduin, and a really important one. Would have been just a little bit better if they could have, if the objective would spawn now, which it doesn't. They also need to send somebody back soon, because there's 2 catapults marching slowly to the core. Still stopped for now by the minion wave that spawned, and they get the wall here. But they are working down that keep now, and the 3rd catapult is now appearing through the bot lane. I'm telling you, if I kill anything, oh my god, no way. They go in with the slowing sands again, and that's the end of Jojo. Bunker for Blaze. He is again using it to negate the ult from Malthael, and they're getting away with this. Insane, but this is still a problem, and I called it out a few times already. It's a triple catapult, and it's 22 minutes in. They're losing way too much here. This is honestly crazy. That's 40% already gone, and it's even a bit more than that. 42% eliminated. With a few hit points on the keep, really worth it. Taking Jojo down, definitely a big step. But now they also have to make sure that this problem at the core is not coming back to haunt them. Taking first Anduin and then Johanna out, that was big. For sure. But now they have to make also sure that they're not losing to some kind of backdoor attempt by their opponent. We got 85,000 damage for Gul'dan, 86,000 from Chromie. Hogga is the only one that is on the top lane now, dealing with the objective, but they should be able to claim this. They have the rest of the team on standby. They're just making sure that the bot lane is not going to get pushed more by Copium. They want to take these catapults out too. But what they could have done, for example, instead of taking the fort here, taking, sorry, the keep, the fort would have been nice, because, well, that alleviates some of the catapult pressure at the bot lane. So, right now, despite the fact that they're pushing the lane out a little bit, I'm not quite sure how much they can actually do with the Punisher at the top lane. It's an Arcane Punisher, and it's gonna hurt. But the blue team is now clearly thinking about executing a play through the bottom of the map. Oh no! No! Jojo! Taunted, stunned, and oh my god. Anduin with a save. But Hogga isn't here. Hogga isn't here. Rhaegar is gone. They might have been trapped. Yep, that is Varian about to fall. He's gonna die. They're chasing the rest too. They nearly got the kill on Johanna. And boy, oh boy, they're losing 3 heroes in the process. This could have been the end for Copium if they lose Jojo here. And what happens instead, 3 heroes on the side of the Raccoons get killed in the battle. They went a little bit too deep, and now it's gonna cost them the game very likely. The keep at the top lane is gonna fall. Even the core is gonna take damage, but I don't think they can defend with only 2 heroes. Chromie is trying her best, but the core is already falling. The shield is gone. And Team Copium, they were so close of losing game number 1, but they're pulling it off. They take the victory here on Infernal Shrines and the lead in the series. Nicely done. GG and well played. We're heading into the next game in a moment. Before we do, once again, a bit of an appeal from my end, guys. You can support the stream for free right now. We got a campaign currently going on with Opera GX. It is the easiest campaign ever. All you gotta do is you download the browser through the link that you can find in the video description, and you watch the video on the browser. That's essentially it. It's as easy as that. It's gonna take you a minute, probably less. There's no insane download involved here. There's no game where you have to play to a certain level or anything of the sorts. It's really as easy as just downloading the browser and then watching the YouTube videos on the browser for a bit. Browser is quite nice, has an integrated VPN, has integrations for Discord, WhatsApp, and a lot of other tools, so it especially targets gamers. But if you just want to support the stream, this is literally all you gotta do. Check out the link in the description, download it quickly, watch the video there, and you're good already. Thanks a lot for the support. Really appreciate everybody that is taking a minute or two to do this real quickly. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of the video, guys. Towers of Doom, Team Copium against the Raccoons, map number 2. Off we go. So, the lead for the blue team. A wild finish. A very, very wild finish at this point. Because that end, any other hero that supports, that heals for Team Copium than Anduin and Johanna is dead. And we're looking at a very, very different fight. Even with Jojo surviving, this could have been a great situation for the Raccoons. Just simply hurl the blue team not anymore in a position where they can attack and then having to defend the top lane where the Punisher was pushing. But 3 heroes die for the Raccoons and all of a sudden the game's over. So that did not really go well for the red team at the end. But they were insanely close to winning this one. Then again, Team Copium with a play that they needed to make. And masterfully bait by Masquerade. All intentional, of course. And that sparked the end for the red team. Now, game number 2 in the best of 5 series. 10 heroes have been played and cannot be played again. We got a ban on the Vikings, actually, for towers. This is a map where, if I'm not mistaken, Masquerade also plays a pretty big amount of Stitches. So, not saying we're not going to get a Stitches play necessarily. Muradin would also be great here. We still have so many tanks around, so not really any problems on this. But just as a bit of a side note, if I expect anything from Masquerade here, if I would have to bet, I would say Stitches or Muradin are going to be the ones that are getting locked in for Team Copium. But we start things off with the first pick again for the red team. So Junkrat gets chosen by Gavlo. There are some, you can really tell that a couple of the players have overlapping hero pools with Nano. And they are trying to also think about, hey, what can we pick that's good for us, but we pick something away from him as well. We saw it in game number 1. We can essentially see it here too. And here's the Stitches pick. Called it. Called it a second ago. I could have seen a Stitches ban. Would not have surprised me. Now, still obviously a question of whether or not we're gonna get maybe a bounty attempt here. But so far, chances aren't that great. Bounties have always been, again, optional. You don't have to go for bounties. It's always just a thing. If teams think that they have a chance of winning with a bounty, if they feel like, hey, this is appealing to us and we can dip into the second prize pool. So maybe they're going to pull something like that off, but we'll see. Well, as we're heading into game number 2 also, for everybody that's watching this on YouTube right now, quick reminder, guys, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. I said it before, but the videos, when they are getting recommended more by the algorithm, we're getting more people back into Heroes of the Storm. Plenty of comments, you might have seen them in the comment section as well, where people have been talking about how the videos got randomly promoted to them, suggested to them, and how they're actually playing the game a little bit because of that. And it is as simple as subbing to the channel and subscribing the video, subbing to the channel and hitting the like button, as silly as that may sound. So if you haven't done that yet on the video here, make sure that you do, and maybe we can get a few more people back into the player pool on this one. So, thanks. Zeratul Malfurion. I see that Malfurion. Muradin, by the way, is banned. So both of the heroes that I talked about for Towers of Doom have now been addressed. We have Stitches picked as expected from Team Copium, and then they banned out Muradin against the opponent. So for now, we could get Alexstrasza for a bounty attempt, but again, Copium hasn't played a single bounty yet. And we get Uther instead. So you got your stun there. And even Samuro now for the side lane. Okay, so Samuro is in. Bit curious what Ropaka is going to pick. If you still want to play around Stitches, I mean, you got a stun now as a follow-up, but you could technically go for Falstad. and get a Gust Isolation. Medivh maybe even. So the final pick could still be interesting. We get a Nuburak and Genji for the Raccoons. They have Genji Zeratul now, plus Junkrat for damage. No bounty attempt by the red team. They didn't try in game number 1, so now that they're one map behind, unlikely that they're going to try and do it here. But that leaves us with Lopaka as the final pick, and they're taking their sweet time for this one. I am curious, though, if they're going to focus on some kind of combo with Stitches. And they go for Imperia, so kinda, they go for a triple front line and they add another stun for the CC chain. But, well, that gets us to game number 2. Towers of Doom, ladies and gentlemen, the Raccoons against Team Copium. Second game of the series, and on the left we have the blue team. We got Team Copium with Banana H on Uther, Nan on Hanzo. Masquerade is playing Stitches in the second game of the series. We got Serath on Samuro and Lopaka on Imperius. This, by the way, always makes me sad because one of the reasons why we have a bounty for Stitches and Alexstrasza is, amongst other things, that this talent is very rarely taken. Masquerade picks it nearly exclusively on Stitches, at least when he plays on Towers of Doom with him, and they're just not picking Alexstrasza to go for the bounty, so it's a bit of a shame. On the right side, we got Gavlo on Junkrat for the Raccoons, we got Scorch on Malfurion, Disciple is playing Genji, Birchu on Anubarak, and Ubi on Zeratul. So, the triple frontline for Team Copium, as so often. And a little bit of brawling happening here in the middle, but yeah, nobody's gonna get a kill here, I guess. A little bit of a lock from Malfurion. Stitches gets pooped around a little bit, but no pull party. No big hits. He is absolutely on point though when it comes to his skin. Summer Stitches, Bikini Stitches right there, and it is a heat wave right now. Yeah, thank God for air conditioning. Alright. It's actually kind of funny to me, I gotta say. There are a couple... Oh my God, what? They really got the Samuro kills? Alright. So right now in Spain, obviously, it's super warm. There's generally a heat wave in Europe, but a couple of countries are hit harder. And I saw a post the other day about the heat wave, and then a couple of comments, and one guy just points out like, hey, thank God for air conditioning, which I totally agree with. And you had another person immediately coming in as like, yeah, well, air conditioning is contributing to global warming. Some people just have brain worms, I'm sorry. With the same logic, you can shut down flights, cars, and any kind of technology that you have. It's so insane. Some people are just brain dead these days. It's totally nuts. I mean, while I agree on some things, some stuff, I'm sorry, is definitely worth it. Yes, if you live in Sweden, maybe AC is not something that you need in your life. If you live in Spain, believe me, without AC, you would have a problem. That's like me telling people in Sweden or in Finland, hey, you shouldn't use any heating in winter. Ridiculous. Some people have just totally lost their mind. It's sad. So yeah, very happy about my air conditioning. And Stitches apparently is agreeing with the heat wave these days. He went straight to the beach and is locking in hooks as well. So we even have the pool party back also in the game, which is also, of course, quite nice. We need a Tychus here with Suns Out, Guns Out. I mean, honestly, we have one summer skin. We need a few more. So, yeah. In the middle, we're currently looking here at 2 kills to 0. And, well, hello? No, they're not gonna get any big aggression there. I mean, at the moment, down to the bottom of the map, we're having Junkrat just dealing with the XP. Stitches has actually gotten a whole lot of stacks already for his level 1. We are only 2.5, 3 minutes in, and he's been able to lock in 10 globes already. So, yeah, not bad. Gets another one here. They're grabbing a lot. They're taking the opponent's globes too, and this is going to help Stitches not only to boost his hit point pool, but also the movement speed, of course. So for potential late game, this is already a nice little start here. But yeah, at this point, we now have the shots fired. It was a bit of a lead for Team Copium as they got 2 out of the 3 altars in the first rotation. Now, talking about rotations, Zeratul is the one rotating between the lanes all the way up towards the top and to start our take those waves out. Whereas down at the bottom of the map, there's the next little hook. Nice. Always pressure. And Disciple is, at this point, yeah, just dodging some hooks. Trying to do the best to stay around the edges and always get some damage in and prep for a potential kill. But, yeah. I mean, at the same time now, what do we get? We got Masquerade in trouble maybe, and Stitches is actually going to get chased hard, and they're going to get him. They really cut off his path of retreat fully, and are now moving over to attempt and get a second kill on Lopaka. The problem is that they went a little bit too deep on this, and then Genji gets killed by his brother. Hanzo comes in, gets the kill, is able to take him out. Well done. That's 3 kills to 1 now. This was actually the first kill for the blue team. They weren't able to take anybody down until Hanzo had the perfect aim here to get the scatter shot connected with Genji. That means obviously also that there's a small experience advantage for the red team now. So they're looking pretty good on this. Stitch's progress has slowed down slightly, by the way. The camp is stolen away. Question is, can they get out without losing anybody? And the answer is no. Nano dies. Hanzo gets eliminated. And I suppose they could go also for Samuro. Zeratul wants him. Oh, the heal. And Samuro gets still taken out. He's not going to be the only one. Banana Age, there's no way he survives. Zeratul gets killed, but Genji follows it up with kill number 3 against the blue team. They're dropping Uther. And now Masquerade is in trouble, gets stunned, and will likely fall as well. Even with the Uther Ghost trying to get the heal out as best as possible. That's a hit right there. Well done. Really, really good job. 7 kills to 2. We have currently level 10 about to kick in for the Raccoons. And yeah, they're following it up with another nano kill. Oh my god, they're on a roll now. 8 kills and level 10. They're going to get that bell tower at the bottom of the map with ease. No problem. So they got a bit mad after game number 1, didn't they? Yeah, they got really mad. We got currently 19,000 damage on Junkrat. We got 14,000 on Hanzo. With them splitting their forces a little bit, they weren't able to go for the bell tower immediately. But since they have an entire... They're basically a 2-level advantage, not only a 1-level advantage. So they're going to get the bell tower with ease. And yeah, let's go. 8 kills to 2. And all the way up at the top, Zeratul is going for the next camp. 17 stacks now for Stitches. 3 more and he gets another 5% movement speed. So yeah, not bad. Disciple is still rushing around here. Has to be careful and sees Though coming and dodges out. Yeah, that's a risk here. There's a really big CC chain also. If you get hooked, gorged, and then, you know, Uther gets a stun on you, there's a good chance that if Imperius is close enough to follow up on it, you're gonna get wrecked. And talking about getting wrecked, Samuro gets wrecked at the top lane, and they're trying to go for Lopaka too. The arrow is dodged. Lopaka gets a heal, and there's the stun chain against Zeratul, but they still lose Imperius. So at the end of the day, it's still a great trade for the Raccoons. But with Uther going for the Divine Storm, they have, of course, a huge CC chain that they can execute. And they could do it right now. Some of the abilities are off cooldown, but Virtue, is he gonna live? And indeed he does! Stitches is the one that dies. Okay. 5 battle towers, 2-3. And a double ult at the bottom of the map. Yep, that's likely 10 shots fired now. Very likely. Don't see anybody interrupting this. So they're going to take 10 points off the blue team's core. And they might still be able to also defend here. Stuns out to delay them slightly. And in comes Imperius. But they're holding on to this. Malfurion gets the channel. 5 shots fired. So the blue team is now down to 22 points on the core. So yeah, job well done. We got 25,000 on Junkrat. Got 21,000 on Hanzo as the damage output. Stitches again, he died 3 times already. I gotta say, with 11 kills to 3, you can just tell how bloodthirsty the red team is in this game now. Absolutely nuts. They are just trying to dive in whenever they can with the Nuburak. Genji as a follow-up. Zeratul is right there. Cuckoo now to shut down Stitches as he went for Gorge. And they won't be able to capitalize on that Gorge play. Stitches does not have the extended hook range yet. So it's going to take them another level before they grab that. That's going to help them for sure. But we also have him now with 22 stacks on his level 1. That means in total he's looking at 10% movement speed. Gets again the hook. Follow-up stuns. 1, 2. Genji's in trouble, but Hanzo is dead. The Shimadas both die. Nice counterplay by the Raccoons. Very nice execution from Team Copium's play. But again, Hanzo dying a second later obviously negated the move more or less. Now we have the double altars up at the top. And I still think there's absolutely no way for Team Copium to retake that bell tower at the bot lane in time. They're more worried about the pumpkins making it through, and they're dangerously close. Uther goes down. They're trying for Masquerade. In comes Imperius, and one... he just hooked the pumpkin. I mean, Anubarak might now die, but he just hooked the pumpkin, and that was one shot fired. So Anubarak low and dies, even with him using Cocoon. That didn't really do anything for him. It is kind of funny, though. The pumpkin got hooked in. Now Gavlo is about to die. Yeah, he's gonna die here. So, nicely done. 5 shots fired by Disciple. So, despite the fact that they just lost a lot of ground, they are at least able to get one of the altars. So, that's a win for them already, no matter what happens. Because there's just not enough altars that get controlled right now by Team Copium. Yep, they fired 3 shots. They get them down 29 points. And I suppose they're going to be able to retake their bell tower at the bottom now. They're already pinging it. They want it. I mean, why wouldn't they? This is the best opportunity that they have. Junkrat is still dead. And everybody is ready for this. But there is a lead in experience. Nearly a level. Soon a talent for the Raccoons. Before they are going to be able to make another play here. Now down at the bottom of the map, we now have the bell tower retaken. Quest, by the way, not completed yet for Samura either. So Samura is sitting at 30 stacks now. 16 talents, which gives us Epicenter for Anubarak again. And we're already getting the Endless Nades, the Moonlit Harmony. Red team gets the next camp. And with level 16 talents, I mean, there's actually a triple altar coming up next. If they get 2 out of those, they would drop Team Copium down into the single digits. Stitches with 30 stacks now. So he's really starting to get there. I mean, at this point, that just essentially means 750 additional hit points. Nah, is that gonna... Are they gonna invade this? Stitch is gonna try a hook at least. Pumpkin's taken, and... Okay, Disciple, easy. No problem. And they want that bell tower back. They have pumpkins coming in from both sides now. If they can continue to pressure this, and also if pumpkins make it in, they might have a shot here, but the defense is full on ready. And of course you gotta be careful, or Samuros is just easily gonna take the control up at the top. Malfurion with some really nice roots, but that Gorge! Does he get the cooldown back? The stuns have to be on point, and they are. Genji is gone. That's the play that they needed, but it also allows Malfurion to go for the channel. He might lose another hero in the process, and yep, seems like Anubarak is not gonna make it. Nope, he dealt with the hook and everything, but this is just a bit too much. So now they're trying to get the top channel. Nicely played though with Hanzo's arrow. They sacrifice an ult cooldown to get 2 out of the 3. Yeah, well done. So if that point we're now having 2 of the altars claimed, 11 points to 24 on the core. So Team Copium is again in the late game making a bit of a comeback. In addition to everything that we've already seen, they're also going for the boss and they will claim it. So that puts the core on the red team side down to 17 points. They might lose the bell tower at the bottom as a result. That's actually pretty realistic given how things stand here. But still, they closed that gap very heavily. So not too bad. 13 kills to 8. They're still all trying to escape here. And they will make it out. But it is now 11 to 17 points on the core. That bell tower should soon be claimed just simply by either Zeratul or by Junkrat making a move. I mean, in this case, actually Genji. But this is going to get interesting. Because Team Copium, they are running a bit of momentum here. They are starting to get somewhere with this. Early game was disastrous. They lost way too much. Right now, the last few fights, they look way better. They always seem to at least get a hook and a gorge, and then the target is essentially dead already. And, whoa, they dodged the cocoon! Nice! But it doesn't even matter. That's the end of Imperius, and Malthael survives. That's the end of Hanzo. So what started off as a fantastic opportunity to take kills against the red team is now resulting in 2 heroes falling. They get, as usual, a counter kill, but it's still a 3 versus 4 on the map now. Uther cleansed out that cocoon, though. So insanely well done to try and guarantee that they're getting value out of the Gorge. But it just wasn't enough. Now they're bouncing them around even further, trying to go for Masquerade again. Again, they only have 3 heroes here. Masquerade gets body blocked. They're trying for Samuro as well. Another dive, another stun, and Samuro is gone. Samuro is eliminated. They can get the channel on the altar, but it seems like they want more than only 5 shots. They want 6. They want to drop them down to 5 points. They're going for the bell tower in the middle, even taking some pumpkins. They are getting slightly greedy on this. Maybe a little bit too greedy, because heroes are coming back. And there's the hook. They're going to get a Gorge. The bell tower is going to be converted over. They should get the channel, honestly. Nubarak is jumping back out. Channel from Disciple. This is always a problem. If you're getting too greedy in situations like this, you might have... you might lose too much. But they get 6 shots fired. 6 shots get fired. Nubarak is dead. They can... sacrificing Nubarak in this situation is still fine. 50 seconds, 1-2 bell towers might be taken back, but it doesn't change the fact that the opponent is now on their last leg, more or less. We have level 20 talents ready for them all. I mean, again, they have the leading experience still. So Shadow Strike is now in. So they're getting value out of this. But they got 1 bell tower. They got the channel. And if they can hold on to the bell tower here at the bottom, for the next altar phase, this would be fantastic, because the next altar is going to spawn at the bottom of the map. But here's that CC chain. Genji jumped in and he gets killed. Uther dies too, though. Uther dies and he doesn't have redemption. Well, he has it now. But that is just a few seconds too late. So, yep. 20 kicks in. How many seconds? 5 seconds too late. And he dies. So, the bell tower at the bottom of the map is going to get claimed. If they can still hold on to the one in the middle, then 1 altar is all that they need. But Samuro is already retaking that one. This series is crazy. This series is honestly a little bit wild. I like it. 60,000 damage for Junkrat, 45,000 for Hanzo. Samuro is about to retake this one too. And we have in total 28 kills, 16 minutes into the game. And they are already trying to reclaim the bot lane. I mean, again, if you can take this one, that would be amazing. And there's Hanzo's arrow, follow up, stun after stun. Malfurion, ooh, the stun. And Nubarak gets murdered. And Nubarak gets absolutely murdered by Hanzo. And now they're gonna lose Malfurion. Guys, this is reminding me of Game 1. This is very much reminding me of Game 1. This is gonna be a channel on the blue team side. And it will drop the red team down to 13 points. They are taking the bell tower at the top. Genji's just a second too late to pull this off before the channel is completed. And, well, by now we have, of course, some more control through the minions at the top. But when it comes to bell tower control, the Raccoons are now the ones that are trying to make a few plays here. But talking about plays, if they can now escort some of those pumpkins in, with only Imperius playing this one out at the top, that is going to be a problem. And I think they might just be able to. Here's the Reptile, pumpkins make it through, and that's now 3 points on the core. Yeah, that's a problem. Now a single boss or a single altar can end the game. Previously it wasn't possible, unless they lost more bell towers. Now it's 3-13. And this will force the blue team to try and take the boss immediately. And that's what they do. Red team, they know obviously what's happening. There's absolutely no way they don't understand what's going on at the boss. But they didn't have Malfurion back in time and they just let this happen. They're like, okay, we're fine with this. We are instead going to move down to the bottom of the map and try to retake our bell tower. 53 stacks now for Stitches, which means that he has 15% additional movement speed in total. Okay, and is... Ooh, yeah, there's the Gorge again. Do they have Cocoon? They have and didn't use it. They use it on Imperius. Yeah, and he X strikes out. They're trying for that fight. Oh, this could be horrible for the blue team. They're about to lose Banana H here, but he has redemption. They lose Uther and they lose Hanzo, though. 2 are down. The bell tower has been reconverted. And Samuro is low. Lopaka is about to die. That's 3 heroes gone, with Banana H at least respawning, but it's not guaranteed that he survives this. Masquerade with a helping hand. Double altar at the top. And Samuro is trying to complete the channel. In comes Gavlo, and he interrupts it. This is potentially gonna be game. They're chasing Uther even further, and Banana H dies. Malfurion is on the channel, and this is it. Victory in game number 2 for the Raccoons. The series is tied as we move on to game number 4. GG. Dragonshire, let's go. I made a crucial mistake. I actually continued the AC conversation earlier, and people are wow. I honestly thought that when I browse through the comments that I get on Twitter, for example, that it's mainly bots. I'm not so sure anymore, because the amount of brain dead that some people just spout when any of these topics is being brought up. People need to read some books. I was suggesting reading one, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Apparently people skip school altogether and educate themselves on Twitter alone. And guys, just let me tell you, bad idea. Really bad idea. So let's jump back to the good stuff, which is in this case definitely Heroes of the Storm. We have our 3rd map in a tie, which means that we are guaranteed at least 4 maps, which is a win in my book already. Because I want to see if teams, as we're heading into game number 4 and game number 5, are actually starting to focus on some bounties again. With the savage performance of the Raccoons in game number 2, we now have 20 heroes unavailable as we're heading into game number 3. And, yeah, might change things up a little bit. It's actually, to me, also pretty interesting that the combo around Stitches actually lost. Because oftentimes when you see the Stitches combo having trouble, it's because the hooks don't connect. You can criticize whatever you want in the last game. The hooks definitely connected. Masquerade got one gorge after another, and Banana H with the follow-up and the stun chain was pretty spectacular. So pretty good move by him, and they got kill after kill because of it. So good stuff. But it just wasn't enough at the end of the day. The Raccoons were able to win it. Lots of good plays made by especially Zeratul and Genji. I mean, the entire team was diving in hyper-aggressively over and over again. And even though they lost Zeratul a lot, they always traded him against 1 or maybe 2 targets on the other side. And yeah, they were able to claim it. So victory for the Raccoons on Towers of Doom. And now we're headed to Dragonshire. Now, with that, we got, interestingly enough, Zul banned out. For game 3, didn't expect that. Maybe later on in the series, but yeah. But now we got Brightwing as our first pick for Banana Age. Still eyeing the Raccoons a bit. I have no hopes that the blue team is going to play bounties. But there is a chance that at some point the Raccoons are just deciding that it's worth it for them. The only thing that honestly prevents the Raccoons from playing bounties is they already completed a lot. So bounties that they haven't completed yet, they're going to be a bit more tricky. They're going to be more difficult for sure. We got Rexa, again, the King of Dragonshire, played once more. And we have also Mirrodin. So they can always get those jumps in with the Storm Bolts. I mean, Mirrodin was a staple on this map ever since the HGC days. Back then it was JPL for Dignitas, which played pretty much exclusively Mirrodin on Dragonshire, assuming that he could get away with it. So, right now, we got Sylvanas. And we have the Vikings. Nice! Viking on Dragonshire. Alrighty. Let's go. What I would love with the Vikings is honestly if they play some Balog style and proxy the waves on the top lane. Old school, like we had from, I believe it was Team Liquid back in the days, with Shad playing. The Spanish boys were doing that a lot. Lucifron, Shad, they always proxied waves with the Vikings and did their stuff there. Yep, EDC is banned out, okay. And let's see what we're gonna get as our final ban. So, okay, Sergeant Hammer's getting banned out. I mean, you can actually do a lot with Rexa as well if you're playing with Sergeant Hammer once that you're moving into 5 versus 5 battles. By now we have the next double pick for the red team. So, there's Disciples of Fear. It's actually still wild to me that Ophir was never banned away. It just is another team that thinks that they can completely deal with her. And I mean, who knows, maybe that's true. But so far, every time that the team attempted to pull that off, they were very quickly obliterated. We got Tyrande. So, Muradin plus Tyrande. Hyper old school at this point. Stun into stun. Hunter's Mark. Ophir has the burst damage behind this as well. And that could really lock targets down into oblivion, especially if Rexa chips in with another Misha stun. And depending what Gavlo picks on the last pick, they can also add another CC tool. We got Garrosh and we got Thrall, so it seems like somebody's going full Orc on us here. It's Smog time. Okay. And the final pick right now. I love Disciples of Fear. It's always fun. So, very curious to see what he's going to pull off with this. And if finally there's a team, you know, who can shut it down or not. But with Dragonshire, our final pick is Falstad. We got the birdie, so a little bit of global movements on our third map. Well, best of 5 series continues, everybody. Who takes the lead? We're going to find out on Dragonshire. Game number 3, Copium against the Raccoons. On the left, we got Nano on Thrall. We got Brightwing played by Banana Age on our second map. Set after the Vikings. This is where it's going to get interesting. Starting things off with Olaf. We got Masquerade on Garrosh and Lopaka on Sylvanas. As over on the right side, we get Disciple on Ophir. So once again on one of his key heroes. We got Ubi on Rexa, Birchul Muradin. Gavlo is playing Falstad for the red team. And we got Scorch on Tyrande. Alright, so quick bathroom break apparently for a couple of the players that are now back to business, but we had a quick pause because of it. Level 1, we get the Ancestral Strength again for Ophir, as usual for him. But, yep, Disciple, lots of people, lots of players, lots of teams have been trying to deal with this Ophir. And so far, his win rate on the hero is pretty spectacular, to tell you the truth. So, we'll see if Team Copium is able to break through that streak and take him on, or if Ophir is now again going to rack damage. Well, at the beginning, it's not really a hero that falls, it's one of the Vikings, so there's at least that, but it was a quick slap, and then Olaf is gone, so that didn't take too long. Can they do more on this? We'll see. There's already a bit of the CC chain. Brightwing is helping out with this, but yep, that is exactly what we're going to see throughout the game. Muradin Stormbolt, Rexa follow up with Misha, the Hunter's Mark, the stun from Tyrande, and then Ophir just chomping away and trying to drop everything in her path. That's going to be the play. That's going to be the idea behind it, and we'll see if they can properly execute that throughout the game. It's obviously one of the real dangerous ones. For now, they're totally happy just taking a couple of Vikings out, honestly. So, yep. Some of the Vikings eliminated there. Muradin, okay, and Birchu is getting wrecked. Muradin is down, and that allows them to also push the bot lane with Sylvanas in their lineup. They can obviously hit this one hard. Whenever you play a Viking composition in an ideal world, you have a lineup that also is super strong in the 4-man, and with Sylvanas, of course, when you win that lane, when you have that 4-man pushing, you can just destroy structures mega easily. That's what they're doing with the bot lane wall, so that puts them already a little bit ahead of their opponents. Team Copium, after losing map number 2, definitely getting a bit more aggressive. Top side, careful, Sedath. Yeah, this time he's actually surviving, at least with one of the Vikings. But we have a Dragon Knight taken. Yep, 2-minute mark, not even completely hit, and the Dragon Knight is claimed. So that is unfortunate for the red team. The first Dragon Knight usually doesn't do a whole lot, so there's at least that, I guess. But they are losing quite a bit of ground in the early game. It's a kill for a kill, the bot lane wall gone, and now you have a Dragon Knight against you that will most likely eliminate at a minimum the second wall too. And yep, has already happened. So, and obviously controlled by the Vikings as well, so they don't even caring about this too much. They can use the rest of the 4-man easily to just simply come in and steal the camp away. The quest completed for Thrall as well. Mega early, 2.5 minutes in. And they nearly destroy that fort. They are actually destroying that fort. What on earth is happening here? Team Copium is speedrunning the early game. Yep, absolutely speedrunning that thing. This is, yeah, a bit problematic. So, very curious what they're now going to do with it. But that is, I mean, at least they don't have any experience yet or anything. It's not nothing on kills. But taking that fort out is huge. And it's so early in the game, the passive experience increase is already going to be something super difficult to deal with. So it's now up to the red team to start and try a comeback here, which will definitely not be easy in the slightest. So trying to win this one, I mean, not impossible, but you gotta gain a bit of momentum yourself, or you're gonna have a huge problem here. So at this point, we're having Nisha eliminated. We got also at the same time now Falstad flying in and trying to help out here. They're trying to get the kills here. They might actually be able to pull it off now, and they do. They get Brightwing. Nice. But a throw against Muradin eliminates him too. He gets the Storm Bolt connected, but they cannot follow up on it. If they would have locked in the second kill here, it would have at least made it worth it for them. But, yeah, not quite the way that it played out. So, as we're slowing things down a little bit, it's still the blue team that has the advantage in the game. Mainly because of the moves that they made in the mid lane with that Dragon Knight that they locked in very early. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the Shrine activates again, because if with their aggression around the 4-man, the Vikings are able to sneak in the Shrines again and get another Dragon Knight, then this game could spiral out of control mega quickly. Bot lane, for example, there's also a camp that they can still easily claim here. The leading experience is not too crazy, but I would expect this obviously to accelerate with the structure taken out this early in the game. Trying for Muradin again. Garrosh with the play, but they are a bit low, and Masquerade is about to go down. They kill Masquerade. Masquerade gets eliminated. In comes Rexa and Misha. They want another one. They might not be able to get Nano here though. And Rexa dies every time. The counter kill. Sylvana's down. Falstad down. 2 kills to 2. They're going for Thrall. The Vikings want the Dragon Knight again, and they get it. Well, they would have gotten it, but somehow Sadath is... Yep, they get it still. Okay. Has abandoned the channel for a second, but still able to claim it now. Thrall, on the other hand, falls at the bot lane, and they're going to eliminate Brightwing too. So that's now 6 kills to 4. Level 10 for both sides, basically. But the Dragon Knight is still in play, and will have to be dealt with by Falstad. Some of the team members are going to rotate up, I guess? No? Not yet? But, yeah. It's a little bit of a wild one at this point, isn't it? Again, the attack against the middle. Disciple and Virtue are both in trouble, but they're getting away. Rexa also uses ult to give them a bit of cover. It starts to calm down slightly, but massive aggression all of a sudden on this one. So, yeah. Not too bad, but it's third game. Oh, the play for the kill on Masquerade. And Orphea slaps hard. Yeah, that's the problem when you don't ban Orphea against Disciple. He's at 25,000 damage, the top damage dealer in the game now. Easily. 5,000 ahead of Thrall, who comes in second place. The top damage dealer on the blue team side. Sylvanas, by the way, at 17,000, so she's still trailing. Finally taking that camp that was already attacked earlier, but nobody went for it. Ooh, but talking about camps, Gavlo, yeah, he gets away. They can't take this camp here. It's still, there's too much of the camp remaining. Muradin is also getting out. He died twice already, so he really needs to be careful here. By the way, looking at experience a little bit, look at that difference in passive experience. That's because of fort that was destroyed earlier, so that definitely helps the team. The Raccoons make up for it by all of the extra heroes that they were taking down. Yeah, now the camp is taken. Olaf was actually sent in to try and limit this a bit further. Delay it, slow it down, maybe allow somebody on the blue team to also move in and steal that away. But by now we have the push at the bottom of the map set up with the Siege Giants as the Shrines are about to activate again. Let's not forget, every single time we had a Dragon Knight so far, the blue team got it very quickly. So their Viking play and their control of the map, their macro, allowed them now several times to get the Dragon Knight very, very easily in this game. They didn't struggle with that whatsoever. 2 objectives and they locked in both with ease. Now, can they do that again? We'll see. For now, we're getting the hits up at the top against the fort, so finally some structural damage also coming in from the Raccoons. Polster is flying out again, gets the gas straight into the ult of Orphea, and boy, the chomp. Nice. Huge, absolutely huge play right now, but the Dragon Knight is taken again by the Vikings. It is becoming a little bit of a meme here. It really is. And the red team, they were actually not quite sure what to do with this now. They have to defend, of course, but their top fort is going to get attacked again. We have 9 kills to 4, and the Raccoons, they are doing fantastic in team fights now. That fly gust into the Eternal Feast from Orphea was fantastic as well, but they're losing objective after objective, and honestly, losing the first 3 already cost them a lot. It cost them 2 forts. And I would say that as this continues, they have to really do something about the Vikings. If they don't deal with the Dragon Knight quicker, and the Vikings claiming it, then they're gonna have a huge problem on their hands, because this bad boy scales into the late game. And they're losing too many structures already as is. So right now we have Orphea with 32,000 damage. She is absolutely pulling farther and farther ahead in this. But, yep. If you look at the map, structurally, the Team Copium is very far ahead now. 4 kills to 9. And top side, that's where we get Gavlo, still pushing this back a little bit further. We have in the middle, Vikings getting chased. Level 16 talents are soon also connecting on the red team. They are looking for kills again. First we have the ult from Sylvanas though. Mirrored in. Pushed back here, is able to get out. They're trying for a few more Viking kills and they get them. They get Olaf and they get Eric. So they drop the 2 of them. There could have been, by the way, an attempt to go for the longboat. This is obviously one bounty. I didn't even think about that earlier. They didn't decide to go for it, but Team Copium technically could have tried for a bounty by simply locking in the longboat. They haven't completed a single bounty yet. They haven't even tried to complete one. So the chances were always slim. But technically, it was an option. Again, the kill on Garrosh. The plays from Orphea. Disciple, honestly, he is just wrecking things. Now they try to go for Nano, who popped the fountain, but they're going to get a kill here too. So Thrall is dead to get the double kill at the bottom of the map. Top side, Rexa is going to get killed. This is, by the way, still one of my favorite talents because it's just so insanely stupid. Feign death, the worst actor in the universe. At which point has that ever worked? They could have called this anything else. Give him some kind of stasis, give him a hibernation talent. Make Rexa hibernate. But feign death? Like, seriously, who came up with this? Rexa just, like, drops and acts like he's dead. Is that supposed to be some kind of pun because of that old meme that when you meet a bear in the woods, you're supposed to play dead? I mean, whatever it is, it's the worst actor in the world. You are going for a big gang, all of a sudden Rexa is there, and it's like, oh, I guess he's dead, let's move away here. It could have used anything else, but, like, making that an actual talent is ridiculous. I don't know if there's some World of Warcraft lore behind it. And if there is, then it's stupid, of course. But yeah, I would have made it a hibernation talent. Given that we're going full bear on this one, it just would have made so much more sense. Rexa, you know, he's that theater kid that always wanted to hit it big in Hollywood and never made it. And that's exactly why. Because he has absolutely no acting skills whatsoever. Nobody ever believed this. Ever since it was implemented. So, yeah, for now, Muradin. Hop, little dwarf, hop! And there's the Sundering, and Muradin, he hits the Stormbolt, but he still dies. Nah, well, no, they can't get the kill there. Can't get the kill on this one. 11 kills to 6. And guess what? Dragon Knight freebie number 4 for Team Copium. I honestly don't know what the thought process here is, but I have the feeling that the Raccoons just simply don't care about the objective. They're not even trying. They're like, well, we're going to lose that anyways. So how about we just don't even bother? And I think this is a pretty bad way of trying to win the video game. So now they are losing the fort at the bottom of the map. They, to be fair, have taken one fort out now as well. But they're still falling farther and farther behind. So yeah, with the Hunter's Mark on Tyrande, you have a chance to take the Dragon Knight out a little bit more efficiently. But still, they're losing too much ground just because of the objective. So they bait it in and defend again. This is the 4th Dragon Knight that they now dealt with. If anything, should probably give them kudos for still being in a spot where they are catching up in experience and where they're able to bring this game back. But they need to do something about this. Currently, Serath is getting mad value for the blue team with his Vikings. And eventually they gotta break through that somehow. I honestly don't really know how right now. They're having too much trouble with this as is. So, well, as it stands, what we're getting is the next camp taken right here. And then, of course, as we're looking at the damage output, it's still Orphea rocking the charts with ease, 45,000 against 35,000. And with 42 stacks on the Viking hold, yeah. So they're getting some decent sustain from the Vikings themselves as well as the game continues. 20 is going to be there in a second for the Raccoons now, though. So they're going to have level 20. The window... Yeah. I was thinking for a moment if they maybe can do something around the fort and start pushing for it with level 20, but even that is probably a stretch. What I like, though, is that we have Epic Mount for Falstad. They're already anticipating that on the macro angle, at least, they need something to deal with the situation. And the only real choice that they have with this is, yeah, it's Falstad. It's a great talent anyways. I like Epic Mount. It's really fun. The mobility that you get on the map is absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, we'll see. We got the Fury of the Storm in. World Breaker for Thrall. And probably a bit more important, the Dark Lady's Call. At this point, you can literally YOLO that thing out whenever you want. And they're going to try and do that fairly soon. Sundering is in. Falstad. Yeah, can still gust if they need to. He was trying to fly in, but couldn't connect the gust in time. Now they're still chasing. They're chasing Thrall. Brightwing. Masquerade eats the Stormbolt and is taken out. Another kill for the team. And guess what the Vikings are doing? This time they want to prevent the Dragon Knight. The Vikings were instantly again on their way to get another DK. And now the Raccoons were like, no. We allowed you 4 of them. Number 5, we're gonna fight for it. They burn down Thrall within seconds. Tyrande dies too, though. They're going for the fort, I guess. But the Vikings, they're still looking to grab that Dragon Knight. They're gonna try and take this one. If they can at least take a few of the Vikings out, that would of course help. The fort in the middle needs to fall, and they drop it. Falstad should be able to fly around and maybe get them one of the altars and goes towards the top and does exactly that. If they didn't lose Tyrande, I think they had a great chance of getting Vikings for themselves. Yeah, getting Vikings for themselves. That would have been nice too. Getting the shrines for themselves and then a Dragon Knight. Yeah, you get some kind of possession ability. It works on minions and Vikings. That would actually be interesting if you could, for example, just steal Misha for 30 seconds or something like that. Would, of course, be absolutely OP. Nice little trap here against Falstad. Yeah. Okay, sees that coming. Is he gonna fly? Gusts, and yeah, flies out. Sylvanas was jumping the wave, though. That could have been disastrous. If she gets a connect with her ult in that situation, then Falstad is essentially dead. But now we have 13 kills to 7, and despite the kill lead, this is still problematic for the Raccoons. The good news is that they are basically even in structures. All they have to take down in order to draw even is the top side fort, and that one is already mega low. So this is now slowly the area where they might have a shot. Oh, Orphea! Yeah, dodged out on the mind control. Still in harm's way though, but they are starting to get more kills, and Masquerade dies once again. He's really been farmed throughout the game. They wanted kills against him and they got the kills. Orphea is still zoning out the rest of the team. They go for the fort and for Sylvanas and they get both of those. So that means that maybe now it's time to grab themselves the Dragon Knight, and we're 17.5 minutes into the game. Orphea with 62,000 damage. They're trying to get the channel. It is not happening. At least not in time. So, yep, they are going to grab the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight number 5 is in the hands of the Raccoons. It's the first one that they get. Falstad is already flying down to the bottom of the map, trying to take Eric down. 6 deaths on Garrosh, by the way. He died 6 times. Crazy. Thrall is second highest damage in the game with 50,000. But this should be a keep now. Yeah, this should at a minimum be a keep. So, the Raccoons, they gave up objective after objective after objective. Now they're finally in a spot where they can do some real damage as they get the first Dragonite. And they are able to take the keep out. And they will do some damage on the core. The only question is, can they kill the entire thing? That's... I have my doubts. But they should be able to at least do something here. If they can pick up some kills, then yeah, maybe more. Muradin comes out. Stormbolt! There's CC! Garrosh, he came, he saw, and he died again. Veni, Vidi, BG. Easy kill. Kill number 7. Now they're going for the rest of the team. It seems like it's falling apart here for Team Copium. They are in trouble and in a lot of it. Tyrande with another double stun connected. The core is losing hit points. The team is a little bit low here. And there are still plenty of defenders around, especially with the Vikings now saying hello. But they're about to lose Thrall. They're losing Brightwing maybe too. Brightwing gets away. The core is at 70%. And Orphea is just chomping away at the Vikings as the core drops down to 50%. Orphea at 86,000 damage right now, and she's boosting the numbers even further as the Raccoons lock in the lead in this series against Team Copium here in the winner bracket semifinal. A victory for the red team on Dragonshire. GG. Game number 4, the lead goes to the Raccoons, and the blue team will have to cope with this somehow. It was a bad one, but you all were thinking about it, and I just sacrificed myself, you know. And yeah, it had to be done. It had to be done. It's just what it is. So, as is right now, what are we getting on the side of the blue team this time? We have 30 heroes banned out because they have been played. Well, banned out might be the wrong phrasing, but yeah, they're unavailable. And we get Chen as a quick lock or quick ban. Which is a little bit sad because honestly, yes, I understand the Raccoons have played Chen in the past. But why would you ban the Panda? Why would you do that? Yeah, it's, yeah, sad moves. I don't like it. But I still have high hopes that we're getting some solid, cool drafts now that we're on Alderac Pass. A lot of the globe is already gone, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Dehaka was played, Falstad was played, you could go ETC Stage Dive. There's a couple of other pseudo-globals that are still available, but even Samora and the Vikings have now been eliminated. So, yeah, there's not that much left if you're really looking for some global control. One of the things that you, of course, could do is hunt Illidan. The problem with Hunt Illidan is that, for example, the Raccoons have already completed that. So I don't think that they are going into a bounty. But this is kind of the scenario that I was talking about earlier. Once that you're going into game number 4 and game number 5, maybe there's a certain playstyle that you're trying to pull off, but the normal heroes that you would target for it are gone. And then you look for alternatives. But again, there needs to be an incentive on top of that. So, yeah. We got Tracer banned away. Double Overwatch ban. Totally on board with that. Get rid of that as quickly as possible. But there comes Sergeant Hammer now for Team Copium. Okay, they're going to try and cope with the situation by getting Sergeant Hammer involved. Fair. More interested what the Raccoons are going to do. The Raccoons are the ones that are regularly busting out some neat little plays whenever they have a chance here. So we'll see if they are going for some crazy draft again. They actually start with ETC first. So that means that there is at least the potential of a stage dive. I mean, either way, ETC is going to be a solid frontliner for them. But they have now the chance to also use him as a pseudo-global, use stage dive, and just jump in during big battles. Could even just attempt to drop onto Sergeant Hammer with it. And they don't even have to play ETC as a main tank. They could actually instead just start to play him as a side laner. It's a bit more unlikely, but again, maybe even a triple front line once more. Cassia is already taken care of a lot of the damage, brings a blind to the table too that they can use against Sergeant Hammer in the big team fights. And then we get Leoric and we get Banana H with Deck Arcane, so they dip a bit more into the Diablo universe here. We could at some point also... maybe not here. Depending on the maps that we're getting, if there is a 5th one, Another choice is, of course, always Cho'Gall. The Cho'Gall bounty was completed by the Raccoons, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they did. Yes, they did. But that is still a pretty powerful pick, as we've already seen from... Ooh, a ban on Arthurs. Okay. So either they're just generally targeting the frontliners here, trying to... Well, there's still Mal'Ganis around, so... If they ban out Arthurs, are they maybe planning to go into someone that would have trouble playing into Arthurs? That's usually auto attackers like Greymane, Illidan, and a few others, but we'll see. Abathur gets banned, okay. It's a bit of a shame that the Abathur bounty was not played more in the tournament. Abathur full Locust build has been attempted, I think, once or twice, but I really thought we might have a chance in the group stage when the skill gaps between the teams was a little bit better, a bit bigger, to get that build used more, but not so much. So, double pick. What's it gonna be? Sonya and Maiev. There's your triple front line right there. So they're gonna go for the heal in the last slot. That gives us a pretty powerful front line, actually. Yeah. Slide, tethers, Sonya, potentially even with a leap and a stun. And over on the left side, with the final 2 picks. I mean, again, this is match point, so the blue team has to win this one if they want to force the 5th map. If not, they're dropping down into the loser's bracket. And Masquerade and Lopaka. We get Mei, and we get Lunara. So Bambi is in the house together with Sergeant Hammer for the damage output. Leo and Mei at the front. And for the support, I mean, if anything, I'm a little bit surprised that they're running down the clock on this one. But what are they getting for Aldrich Pass now? It's not as crazy as I think with the draft. I mean, Mei is there, we get Stukov, okay, so that lurking arm. And, well, let's find out if the Raccoons can take it. Game number 4, match point number 1 for the red team, Aldrich Pass. Game number 4, the first match point for the Raccoons. Is this going to be enough? Can they pull it off here against Team Copium? Time will tell. We got Nano on Sergeant Hammer, Lopaka on Lunara, Banana H is playing Deckard Kane, Masquerade on Mei with a heat transfer on level 1, and we get Sadath on Leoric. If they lose, they drop into the lower bracket, and the Raccoons would move on to the winner bracket final. If they win, then we are going to the final map of the series. Disciple playing for the red team on Cassia. We got Ubi on Sonya, Scorch on Stukov, Gavlo on Maiev, and Birchu is playing ETC. As Disciple has actually not picked his level 1 yet. Gonna get stacks, or what's the hesitation here? If anything, I'm a little bit confused why I would hesitate. Normally when you go stacks, you pick it quickly. No real reason to delay this. Maybe he forgot? Not quite sure, but, well, we indeed get Thunderstroke. So, Lightning Fury focus for him. And down at the bottom of the map, they're already going for Sergeant Hammer. Cassia is obviously going to be pretty nice against Hammer in general. You have that extra blind that is going to help you a bit during the team fights. If it goes into a big 5 versus 5, let's say we have a battle over one of the bosses, then you can at least come in, drop that blind, and get the initial value out of it, and a bit ahead on this one. Now, with all this said and done, we already got all the way up at the top right. Gavlo now sitting tight on the next camp, so it's going to be a little bit of a slower start. Cassia will have to try and find some stacks here. Not all that easy, to be honest. Well, depends on who she's up against, but if we had a couple more team fights around camps, then this would be easier, but the camps obviously are situated on each team's side, and it's not like we're gonna get a battle for any of the bosses anytime soon for the next couple of minutes. Those bad boys spawn at the 5-minute mark, and even then you usually don't see a team make an immediate move for it. So any kind of skirmish that they can force around the objective or anywhere else is going to be nice for Cassia and her stacks to try and get a bit of a head start on all of this. So even fights like here in the middle are going to help, and yeah, they're going to get at least some value. Going for Nano again, but you could already see the blind being executed by Cassia against Sergeant Hammer, and then even a follow-up tether from Gavlo trying to force the agenda there. But now we actually get that little skirmish that we are talking about. So for Deckard Kane, we get the potion of shielding. Sergeant Hammer comes in with siege tactics. The triple front line setup that we get for the Raccoons is also still looking quite strong. On level 4 we got the Blossom Spell. And yep, they are fighting this out even further with Cassia now sitting at 11 stacks. Not horrible. Get some hits in. Trying again for Mei, but Gavlo on Maiev. Mega low and barely able to get away. But he is able to escape, so whew, close call, my friend. That was nearly first blood for Team Copium as he escaped. So the blue team is looking for those kills. And Cassia is looking for them stacks. Gets a couple, but also has to be cautious now. It's attacked again. And pushed back by Nano. Sonia, on the other hand, yeah, she gets murdered. Got killed by Bambi. Bambi's taking some of the hunters down here. And that is first blood in the game. Team Copium taking the kill lead over their opponents in red. And more hits from Cassia here. But I mean, at this point, when we're gonna go for the build here on Leoric, for example, full swing, we have him with Consume Vitality straight into the Ghastly Reach. So he's going to do a lot on the minion waves, and then also later on, don't get Needle Peasants or anything of the sort. But yeah, with Lunara, we can also check on some of the talents that she picks later. There's also a bit of reworking kicking in on her, of course. But by now, we still have even experience for the teams. Object is obviously up. Nobody has really gone for it. Here comes finally the movement for Sergeant Hammer with Hover Siege mode. In addition to that, we also get the backup battery from Mei. And yeah, Battle Rage kicking in for Sonia. With 20 stacks at 4 minutes in, Cassia is essentially where you normally want to be. Around the 8-minute mark, you want to have your 40 stacks. I think at this point it might be a bit of a slower progress for her. Doesn't really seem like she's getting too many opportunities to go for the big stacks. Obviously, if the teams are slowly going to start and force some fights around the prisoner camp, it might turn out to be a little bit different. But generally speaking, it is a more of a slow-paced game right now if you compare it to the previous 3. And partly because this is match point. Especially the blue team is, of course, very cautious right now and fully aware that if they lose out now, they're going to drop down into the losers bracket. But Gavlo still pushing at the top and a bit low, but that swing, that could have hit. So the mace to the face nearly, but Maiev is able to hearth back. Now, in the middle, they go for Disciple again. Sergeant Hammer in particular is a nice target for Cassia, just because of that lack of mobility. So if you get hits in there, fantastic. Talking about getting some hits in, they're trying with Bambi again against Sonya at the top. Once that we get level 10 abilities, I think the dynamic is very quickly going to change and we're going to see some bigger fights. It also depends slightly on what exactly someone like Sonya is, for example, going to go for. I mean, if Sonya, for example, decides that it's time to unleash a leap on us, then this is going to get pretty big. They can try... And this is actually a pretty realistic one, too. Because that would allow them to get a lot of value on, especially Sergeant Hammer, if they can connect that. And more importantly, if they can maybe previously also bait out siege tactics. But it's not only a Sonya with Leap that's going to get interesting. I want to see what we get from ETC. Leap is in, so we get that. Do we get Stage Dive? That's the bigger question right now. We get the Containment Disc. And ETC potentially with Stage Dive. They really want to dive into the opponent's backline. And yes, there we go. Stage Dive plus Leap, both are being used here. So this could get very tricky, not only for Sergeant Hammer, but also for anybody else in that backline, like for example Deckard Cain. If they start to jump in on him and then engage also with Maiev for a quick tether, they can really wreak havoc there. And it allows, yep, at the top already with Leap initially executed, they go for Bambi and they get the kill. They jumped in with both and get immediately a kill on Lunara. So Bambi is gone and that was the first kill for the Raccoons too. They suffered some damage on their forts, something I should probably point out too. But yeah, the attacks keep coming in the middle and they're taking some of the towers down very, very quickly. Another slide and maybe an opportunity to also apply pressure to Mei, but Masquerade can just basically walk out of the fight. That didn't threaten him too much. Cassia is still getting decent stacks here. I mean, she's at 33. So she is slowly and steadily just getting those numbers in. It's nothing insane. It's not going to set a record here. But this is still some solid stacking by Disciple. And just continuous effort to get to... Ooh, Stukov is actually being hit by this. Can they go on that? Yeah, the little Nado as a follow-up was nice. Disciple is in trouble though. Wants to heal, tries to get it, and they might just be able to save Disciple. And they do. Oh my god. What a play again from Scorch here. Using the slap to keep everyone at bay. It's only the damage over time on Cassia, and they're able to perfectly set this up. EDC jumping out here, was hoping to go on deck Arcane and have some proper follow-up, which wasn't the case. But I really, really like how some of these moves are being executed and how the team never gives up on anybody. So, saving in this encounter, Cassia was big. But they lost the fort at the bot lane, so this is where things are not really going all that well. They are doing a really great effort in a lot of the fights and are actually getting lots of value, but they're also losing ground on a lot of the lanes here. Tiny lead in experience for the red team, disregarding anything else, but nothing that they can exploit. The window isn't big enough. So by now we got Abolish Magic for Bambi, and Leo just keeps pushing the entire time here. In comes ETC, but yeah, they're not gonna be crazy enough to try and move too hard here. Setath, he's been that silent little killer on that side lane. His impact was obviously huge on Dragonshy, even though they lost the map. But now on Leo, he also gets lots of value on his lane. They might be able to go for... Gavlo gets out. So the blue team looking for kills. And Gavlo is obviously playing on Razor's Edge here the entire time. He needs to engage and create kill opportunities for the team, but at the same time, they don't want him to go too deep and then all of a sudden become the target himself. But as it stands right now, we have the blue team attempting to make those big plays. They're pushing in, ETC with a stage dive on Nano, as he moves out and also slowly starts to run out of mana here. But they make a play for Mei. Leap could seal the deal here. Masquerade is mega low, and yeah, they're not going for it. I was just waiting the entire time for Ubi to go on his ult and try and get the kill here on Mei. Once they take her out, that's their front line gone. And I'm, if anything, a bit surprised that they didn't try to pull that one off. But, well, we got 25,000 damage now for Cassia. 32,000 for Sergeant Hammer. Might have a little bit lower than I thought with the 10k. But, yeah. It is definitely a slower game. They have a lot of respect for each other at this point, and specifically the blue team doesn't want to risk anything crazy where they then lose one or two heroes and all of a sudden the game's lost, you know? So, yeah, ETC gets hit. Full on control here the entire time. I mean, that was a great kill. They controlled the pace first with Mei and slowed him down. Then the Entomb, and all of this really nicely lined up, allowing Sergeant Hammer to get tons of damage out. That's kill number 2 only for Team Copium. But with ETC eliminated, they now can go for the objective. Once that ETC is back on the map, he obviously will have stage dive and could technically jump in right away. But they are losing out on that first wave of raiders. It's not looking great. It's going to be a cavalry for Team Copium from the looks of it. And Disciple goes down as well. Yep, that is bad news now for Team Copium. ETC is back, but Cassia is gone. And the Raiders are going to move into. I feel that there is definitely an argument to be made for the red team to be risking a little bit more. You're already ahead in the series, so you can take a couple of risks, and even if it doesn't pay off, you still have the next map. But I come back to that leap earlier. I really think there was an opportunity to try and get the kill on Mei. Gavlo again. See if we can tether this up a little bit. And does forces the ice block from Masquerade. But I think we're going to lose. We're going to see multiple forts now fall. They go for ETC again. Nice combo with the little Nado too. He still has a power slide though. Gets it. And ETC is jumping out. They lose the fort. ETC jumps away. Gavlo might be the one that gets targeted now though. Sergeant Hammer is moving in. And that's the end of Hammer at least. So they trade kills. Somehow Leoric still survived, which is fascinating. But with Gavlo realizing that he would fall, he just said, oh, okay, I'm going to die let's just set up a kill for the team, and they obliterated Sergeant Hammer. And Leo was also dropping mega low. So all of the forts on the red team side are now gone. I don't think they can get more. But yeah, forts are all gone. Keeps are still standing. Cavalry has been slain. They got 65 stacks now for Cassia, so Disciple is working this. He really is. Down at the bottom left, Banana H. Needs some mana. It's not going to be the only one. Obviously for Sergeant Hammer with the 45,000 damage, we have now Giant Killer. So it's going to be pretty big as a tool. 37,000 for Cassia as a top damage on the red team side. And again, the play for Disciple. Yep, space created. ETC says hello. What about Sonya and Maiev? Can they jump in on the target? They're looking again for May, but well, actually, they leap in. Try and slow him down a little bit. It's too late. If they pull that off a bit earlier, then I guess ETC might be able to close the distance and set up another power slide. But the cooldowns were ready for Masquerade, and he is able to get out without too much trouble. The disc on Sergeant Hammer, but even here... well, the slide, actually, are they gonna set this up? They can't get the kill. And now Bambi is saying hello too. This might actually be the end of Cassia again. Cassia, yep, gets attacked, and Sergeant Hammer gets the kill. The range damage gone, and now it's cleanup time. They're going for the rest of the team, chasing them down one after another. Beautiful Entomb, blocking the path of everyone. Stukov is down, Sonya's eliminated. ETC jumps out and had enough hit points left. Not even dying to the damage over time or anything of the sorts, but that was a triple kill for Team Copium. They are trying to force game number 5 here. And this is looking very, very good for the blue team now. They have a 1 level advantage. They have a chance to go for the next objective, and they're working on the boss at the same time. So they can really set up a full-on double whammy here. Two-pronged attack easily with boss plus objective. And to make matters obviously even worse, a level 20 talent that they can utilize in that next fight as well. For the red team, this is disastrous. Yeah, that is just looking... It's not looking good at all. If that doesn't take at least one keep down, then that would be a huge mistake by Team Copium. That would be absolutely no excuse. So, objective is taken. Boss is claimed as well. And they're also, with Lunara, still taking the camp here. She kind of needs to hurry, though, so that she can assist the team at the bottom of the map. But yeah, they got the level 20 talents now. And Lunara is going to make her way over. But at this point in time, we got Sergeant Hammer also slowly on the way. They're a bit late with the range damage dealers to try and assist here. But they're going to take this one out for sure. So that keep will fall, if not to the boss, then to the cavalry. For Deckard Kane, we now get the perfect gems. And Lunara has not made a choice yet, but is moving in with the team. They get the ice wall set up again. Lunara with the intensifying toxin. Here comes the last stand of the Raccoons. They're trying to get the kills quickly, and they might actually be able to get a couple. They're taking down Leoric, and they have level 20 now as well because of the experience that they got thanks to this. The problem is that now Sonya is gone. Only 1 armor shield is removed from the core, though. That is not guaranteeing you a kill on the core. They could still get wiped here, but the red team is slowly retreating, and with Sergeant Hammer just continuously getting the damage out, the core might fall here. Yeah, again, 1 armor shield is not a lot. If 2 are remaining, you can still defend and the core can regenerate, and it seems like that's what they're fighting for here. But we have more keeps that are going to be attacked in just a moment. Lunara! Big damage, and ETC is gone. ETC is eliminated. They go for Stukov. They drop him too, and I guess this is the end of it, regardless. Yep, the core is going to be taken out. We're going to go to game number 5. We have another series in the winner bracket that goes the distance as Copium wins Aldrich Pass. Game number 5, we're going the distance on the series. So, our winner bracket semis, they are quite the blast. We got the Raccoons against Copium, and, well, who takes it? The winner of the 5th map goes to the winner bracket final and will face off against the bounty hunters that don't hunt bounties. And the loser drops down into the loser's bracket. Shocking, I know. We are in game 5, which means 40 heroes have been played and cannot be played again. And, well, 6 heroes are going to get banned out, so that removes roughly half the heroes of the pool. Now, what exactly are the Raccoons not going to do? By the way, this is definitely a map where I could see Cho'Gall. I absolutely don't care that the bounty was already completed for the Raccoons. I think there is a chance that they are going to look at Cho'Gall and be like, yep, given the circumstances, we actually go for him. This throws me for a loop a little bit. Vala has indeed not been played? Is that the first Vala ban that we see? So she was not played the entire time and she was still available? I didn't even notice. I could have sworn she was played, but that must have been the previous series. Okay, fair enough. That is an interesting one. Medivh gets banned too. Again, the bans make perfect sense to me. You get rid of Mephisto, you get rid of Medivh, you eliminate Vala. I think Lucio was a ban that they had previously too, right? So that's something that Team Copium could still pick up as a ban on their end. To not allow some crazy first pick over here. But yeah, game 5 once more. It's gonna get wild. They get rid of the panda. They just hate the panda. Yeah. Makes me a little bit sad. I would have loved to see some of those panda players again. But yeah. So, what do we get? We got, as the first pick, hesitation. That's what we're getting. A lot of hesitation, but they go for Urel. So, okay. Definitely a good first pick if you're struggling. Well, you're struggling on the side lane. You're not quite sure what exactly you want to get for some side lane pressure here. And Urel is obviously really good for that front line too. If any role is suffering a bit this late in the game, it's oftentimes the main tanks or some of the melees. We still have plenty, but the quality is starting to drop down a bit. I think Arthas is available, Mal'Ganis is available, a couple of others too. But I could have seen them, for example, go for Lucio. I could have absolutely seen a Lucio pick first for the Raccoons. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they just simply give Lucio up. And now you have Diablo plus Lucio as a first rotation. But there's the Cho'Gall pick. Again, Cho'Gall now taken. That doesn't really shock me. I already called it right as the draft started. This is not a bounty attempt. They completed this bounty before, but they are now going full Cho'Gall on us. Still a very, very powerful first pick rotation for Team Copium. Lucio plus Diablo. It's great for Tomb of the Spider Queen. There is no doubt about it. There's a reason why they banned out Lucio previously. So, now they got Urel and they got Cho'Gall. Oriel gets immediately banned. They're now trying to play around the supports a bit, but honestly, even if you're now going for Moradas, still good. Still works. So it's not like we don't have any healers available. There were no games, I believe, in the series where we had like double healer or more. So it's not like they softened that pool up to an extent where you don't have anything that can heal any longer. They ban out Sul'jin. I believe Tychus is still up. And isn't Greymane also still available? So if you're just purely looking for heroes that can deal with Cho'Gall, then you could still go for those. That doesn't hard counter Cho'Gall by any means, but it's something that will give you some added value. So we'll see if Team Copium is responding to it accordingly, or what their game plan is now. They go for Zagara. That obviously is also working a bit, but she's on the squishy side. Ooh, and Trash Tannis. I am not so sure on that pick. Yeah, okay, Trash Tannis as a choice. This is the liability. They pick the liability for the game. I'm not so sure. Artanis, I sometimes giving some bonus points for Battlefield of Eternity at least. But yeah. Here comes Ana and Greymane, so they get nano boosted Gal. And they pick Greymane away from the opponent. That leaves us with Lopaka as the final pick. Well, let's see how this works out. But Artanis is, in my eyes, always a huge handicap. The only reason why we don't give that guy a bounty is because he's boring. And that leaves us with the final choice. Copium. They made it to game 5. Can they win it? We'll find out right now. They go for Tychus. No shock there. Tomb of the Spider Queens. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the final map of the series. Game number 5. Banana H on Lucio on the final map of the series. We got Nano on Zagara. We got Masquerade on Diablo. Serath on Trash Tannis. And Lopaka with Tychus. Over on the right side of the map, we get the Raccoons with Gavlo on Gal, Ubi on Urel, Disciple on Cho. That's actually an interesting one. Disciple is playing Cho for them. Scorch on Ana, and Birchu is playing Greymane. Let's go. So, we got Disavlo. Great Shogal name. It's not quite the gay orgy, but Disavlo is definitely... it's a good one. Level 1 choice, by the way, for Tychus. He goes into Dash. So, trying to stick to Cho'Gall a little bit longer. We'll see how he's gonna play that one in the later stages with the build that he's going for. I mean, we still would expect the bigger they are, but you could, no, I still would expect the bigger they are. You could technically also just try to get massive minigun duration out of in the rhythm and then operate around that, but we have quite a few tools obviously that can burn Cho'Gall down with the 2 hero choices, with Zagara and then also Tychus. Artanis can help out a little bit, and the whole idea is obviously just kill Cho'Gall. But can they do that? Yes, no, we'll see. I'm just generally not a fan of Trash Tannis. My general rule of thumb is there's always a hero that is a better choice than Artanis. With amateur opponent on Battlefield of Eternity, I can see to an extent that you are trying to get value when you're going for the Immortal, but specifically when chosen on other maps, not so much. If his swaps would be a little more reliable or something there, maybe, but yeah. Artanis can be fun to play, don't get me wrong, but in a competitive environment, I think there's basically in nearly every situation a better choice. So, down to the bottom. Cho'Gall just gets bullied around right now. As the game continues and he picks up a couple of talents, he will be harder and harder to kill. There are going to be, of course, the percentage talents for the blue team. That will be certain thresholds where it's maybe a little bit easier for them to chunk Cho'Gall down, but he's going to get more tools that he can use to try and stay alive here. So I'm trying to stay alive. They're invading that camp, or they're trying at least hard. Greymane nearly falling to that. Cho'Gall slowly coming in. Masquerade bullying his way out, and they're gonna get the camp, but it is slightly delayed. Definitely slightly delayed. Now, we got on level 4 now, Envenomed Spines, we got Life Leech. Something that you definitely don't see all the time for Diablo, but it makes sense in this case. So, yeah, more survivability up at the front. Well, can make sense. We'll see how exactly Masquerade plays that out. But again, you don't really see that a whole lot. They go for in the rhythm, by the way. So in the rhythm, we didn't get the auto attack range increase that we typically get when they're going for an auto attack build, but we still get the minigun duration extension that you want to have to just continuously wreck Cho'Gall in those team fights. And if stacked properly, Lopaka could be the biggest threat in this game to Cho'Gall's survival in the later stages. So yeah, definitely something. But at this point, we got Nano slightly chased. Yep. And of course then on top of that, we're having a topside still. Next little play being made as both of the teams are looking for some additional gems. They're getting closer and closer to a full turn-in being possible by both of them. But only the blue team has turned some of them in. Now Cho'Gall with level 10, we get the Rising Dread. And we got the Seared Flesh for Disciple with Cho. 4 stacks only with the first minigun duration. As is always the problem. I mean, you want to get as much as you possibly can out of the first 1-2 durations, maybe out of the third, just simply because it would allow you... Oh, nice, they get a Urel kill and some stacks. Because it will allow you to just stack fast as the game continues. But Urel taken down and being first blood in the game is already a good move from Team Copium. So they're getting some value here. Get the early level 7 and they're working on the turn-in. 38 gems have so far been delivered. Ana is going for the full grenade build for now. Level 7 on both sides at this point in time. And actually we get the Relentless Soldier here. So haven't really seen that Tychus build too much whenever we had recently. I mean, it was Team Freedom, for example, that played with an auto attack build. Well, it was a bit of a different approach here. Really just speccing into the range increase and everything. But at this point, we have the attack for Cho'Gall again. That's a problem when you're playing Cho'Gall on Tomb of the Spider Queen. There's a couple of advantages playing it on a map like this. One of the disadvantages is that if you are the one that holds a lot of gems, your opponent has technically only to try and pay attention to you. And there's only 4 bodies on the map. You don't have that 5th body available there, which makes it sometimes very easy for an opponent to keep track on who's where, who's trying to turn in, and prevent that from happening. So the blue team is now pressuring. They have a leading experience. They got the first Web Weaver wave, and they are doing some real solid work with that first attack already. Artanis is down at the bottom of the map, and Cho'Gall is still struggling in the middle against all of this. Also, a continuous source for more stacks for Tychus, who's obviously going to be quite happy about it too. But this is making things now a bit difficult. They need to first of all defend, not lose too much, and then try and get their own turn in. Urel is going to get attacked at the bottom of the map. She's trying to create space and also buy some time, as the Web Weavers at the top have been taken out, so those are already gone. Cho'Gall has dealt with the mid lane and is now rotating down to the bottom of the map. And they still lose the first fort. So objective number 1 is already resulting in 1 fort being destroyed on the side of the Raccoons. So far, game's not going that great for them. First objective has gotten value quite a bit for Team Copium. And now they're continuing the play here. We have, again, Diablo getting quickly attacked, but still totally fine and also completing his stacks. So yeah, Drill on level 10 for Tychus. And with level 10 abilities, they initially tried to push for a fight, but the blue team wasn't able to force it that hard. So, Raccoons just simply retreated for now and are waiting for their own level 10 to kick in. But it still does allow the opponent, Team Copium, to be a bit more aggressive and damage 1 additional fort. And they're getting closer and closer to another turn in too. Don't forget about that. But yeah, Cho'Gall, right now with 39 stacks. 39 gems for him. And there's level 10. Okay, so now it's party time. Now we got the nano boost. And we got the bullet. We got the Hammer of Twilight again for Cho'Gall. And can they now try and get the turn in? 30 gems have been again delivered by Team Copium. Ana gets hit. That's not gonna... Oh, there's the kill. Ana gets killed. She got the nano boost off on Cho'Gall before she died. But he is in trouble here. Yeah, they don't have a support behind this any longer. And the blue team is absolutely running the show on this one. I gotta say, I am impressed. I thought they would struggle more in order to get a proper foothold in this game. But currently, they're doing great. 18,000 damage on Tychus. He's not even a top damage dealer in the game. 20,000 on Zagara. And Cho'Gall is going to die and is going to lose the gems. And they're likely going to get the kill here against against Greymane as well. They go for Urel. 73 gems on Urel. So she recovered the gems at least. Not all of them, I might add. But this is still disastrous. This is 5 kills to 0. Another fort destroyed. Guys, Team Copium is absolutely running a clinic on them right now. Copium is going through the Raccoons like hot butter through cheese. They're crushing it. Second Web Weaver wave for the blue team. And they are doing a stellar job on this one. 55 stacks for Tychus. It's good. It's not insane, but it's definitely good enough. And he hasn't even picked up all of the proper talents yet that he needs to later on deal with Cho'Gall. And of course the same is also true with Zagara. So she's going into Hydralisk talents, soon TM. And I am a little bit afraid for the Raccoons, because now they're also trailing a talent. It's 13 to level 10 talents. It's a 2-level gap basically. And the last fort will now be lost, and then it just remains to see how much more damage they can do at those walls for the keeps. And still not a single kill for the Raccoons. The Raccoons don't have a single kill yet. Urel gets attacked again. 73 gems, as I said earlier. Cho'Gall, nano boosted, gets attacked and makes it. Or does... Yeah, but barely. Ana just working double time to get the heals connected. The fort is lost though. Bottom wall has been destroyed too. Now they're breaking through the middle. Ana gets killed. They could get Masquerade, maybe, but even that doesn't work out for them. Instead, Cho'Gall gets targeted and he gets destroyed. Masquerade is just bullying them into oblivion. That's Greymane gone. The bottom keep is about to go down. We're not even 10 minutes into the game. Not even 10 minutes into the game, and they go for the core. The Copium boys are wrecking them. The Raccoons are struggling here. They were in the lead in the series. Diablo is gone. It was a 2-1 lead for the Raccoons, and now they're getting absolutely murdered here on map number 5. It's a victory for Team Copium. They move on to the winner bracket final to face off against the Bounty Hunters, and the Raccoons drop into the losers bracket. GG.